In 1974, a massive fire ravages the farm of Antoine and Jerry Betz, leaving destruction in its wake. While inspecting the damage on their property, the couple stumbles upon something extraordinary. Amid the scorched earth lies a perfectly polished, gleaming metal sphere. The couple's 21-year-old son, Terry, goes to retrieve the sphere for a closer look. Despite being only 20 centimeters in diameter, the object is surprisingly heavy. Driven by growing curiosity, the family makes a decision they'll later regard as their greatest mistake. They bring the sphere into their home. For the Betz family, life would never be the same again. The land where the Betz family discovered the sphere was located in Jacksonville, Florida, and on George Island. This wasn't just a small, Florida-style single-family plot. It spanned 88 acres and served as an industrial tree-growing site. Antoine Betz was a naval engineer, while his wife, Jerry Betz, was an artist. Together with their 6 children, the couple lived in a grand mansion they called the Castle. Before diving into the details of the event, it's worth mentioning that the Betz family was highly educated and financially well off. Typically, stories like this often involve people seeking media attention or trying to make a quick buck. However, the Betz family was not one of them. The mysterious Betz sphere was 20 centimeters in diameter and weighed approximately 11 kilograms, roughly the size of a bowling ball, yet far heavier. Aside from a few scratches, the metal sphere bore no signs of welding or any industrial machining marks. Since it didn't seem dangerous, Terry brings the sphere home and places it near his window like a decoration. The family doesn't pay much attention to the object and carries on with their lives. But all of that is about to change completely in just a few weeks. One day, while Terry and his friend are playing guitar in his room, they notice a strange humming sound coming from somewhere. They stop playing to listen closely, but the hum fades away. Thinking it's just their ears ringing, the boys start playing again, only for the humming to suddenly return. As Terry starts walking around the room with his guitar in hand, he discovers that the humming is coming from the sphere. Even more astonishing, the hum from the sphere changes in response to the notes he plays on the guitar. The two friends start playing the guitar even louder near the sphere. The faint hum from the sphere turns into a much stronger buzzing sound. At that moment, the family dog in the room gets scared by the noise and runs off. The incident sparks Terry's curiosity even further, prompting him to start conducting his own small experiments with the sphere. First, Terry taps the sphere with a small hammer, and it emits a sound like a resonating bell. Eager to show this to his family, Terry places the sphere in the middle of the living room on the carpet, gathers everyone around, and steps away to grab his guitar and hammer. At that very moment, right before everyone's eyes, something completely unexpected happens. The sphere begins following Terry on its own, without any external force applied. The Betz sphere was no longer just an ordinary metal orb found in the middle of a forest. Responding to sound and touch, the sphere had now begun moving on its own. When rolled, it would stop by itself, vibrate, change direction, and return to the person who had rolled it. These movements sometimes lasted a few seconds, while other times they went on for up to 5 minutes. It's even said that on one occasion, the sphere rolled around the room for 12 minutes straight. Antoine Betz, a military engineer, suspects it might be some kind of gyroscope mechanism. He places the sphere on the center table you see here. When they push it, another intriguing event unfolds. The sphere rolls to the edge of the table but doesn't fall. Instead, it steadies itself at the edge and begins spinning around the table's perimeter. Utterly bewildered, Antoine grabs one side of the table and lifts it into the air. Yet instead of falling, the sphere once again rolls to the edge, stops, and then moves in the opposite direction toward the side Antoine lifted, defying the incline. It's as if it has a conscious mechanism protecting itself from falling. Jerry picks up the sphere and starts shaking it. The sphere doesn't seem to like it. In an interview with a newspaper, Jerry mentioned that after shaking the sphere and setting it down, it rolled away as if trying to distance itself from her. The mysterious sphere becomes the family's fascination, and they constantly discover new things about it. For instance, the sphere has a subtle magnetic field when stationary, which intensifies when it moves. While still, it can hold a small paperclip, But after moving, even jar lids stick to it and don't let go easily. They notice that the sphere emits a slight vibration and hum under sunlight. After being left in the garden for a few hours in the midday sun, the sphere is brought back inside, and the heated sphere retains its warmth for a full 3 days without cooling down. The Betz family initially shares the sphere's unusual properties with close family friends. But a few weeks later, one of those friends contacts the Jacksonville newspaper requesting an interview. The newspaper sends a photographer to document the story. The photographer, who didn't believe in such things even the slightest bit, becomes a fervent believer by the time he leaves the house after seeing the sphere. Lon Anger, a seasoned photographer for the Jacksonville newspaper, is someone well-versed in spotting hoax stories. But what he experiences at the Betz family's home leaves him stunned. Just like Terry did, he pushes the sphere and it rolls around the room, making various turns before returning to his feet. Thrilled, Lon rushes back to the newspaper to share his story, and the incident is published as a full-page feature in the papers. Following the news, numerous media outlets across the country line up for interviews with the Betz family, and the phone never stops ringing. Jerry Betz describes the experience. "We were getting endless phone calls day and night, and it was starting to wear us out. As a family that preferred a quiet life somewhat isolated from society, being thrust into the spotlight like this was really overwhelming. Remember what I said earlier. Since the family had no need for money or fame, they turned down all the calls and offers. That is, until a call comes from an institution they can't refuse." The United States Navy contacts the Betz family, expressing their desire to study the sphere. Though the family initially rejects the request, the Navy insists that the object might be one of their technologies, making the investigation necessary, and takes the sphere from the family for 2 weeks. Jerry ensures that a contract is signed, guaranteeing the return of the sphere if it's determined not to belong to the U.S. Navy. With that settled, the experiments begin. According to the Navy's test reports, the object's outer shell is made of stainless steel with magnetic properties. Unlike ordinary steel, however, this object is highly resistant to extreme heat and pressure. The mentioned high pressure was calculated to be 50,000 kilograms per square centimeter. The tests revealed that the steel belongs to the 431 stainless steel class, and intriguingly, the sphere has 4 magnetic poles, 2 positive and 2 negative. The next test, an X-ray scan, complicates things even further. In the initial test, the interior of the sphere remains invisible. The Navy then expands the experiments with more advanced equipment. After 2 weeks, the military determines that the object doesn't belong to them and returns the sphere to the family. However, they also include an envelope containing the X-ray scan results alongside it. When the family examines the X-ray results, they realize there's something inside the sphere. According to the X-ray scan, the outer layer consists of a 2.5 centimeter thick steel shell with additional layers of steel of varying densities extending inward toward its core. At the very core, they discover an apple-sized hollow space containing 3 smaller spheres. Curiously, each of these smaller spheres has a thin cable extending from it. While the nature of these tiny spheres is a mystery in itself, what's even more astonishing is how they were placed inside the larger sphere, which shows no signs of industrial tampering. As these mysteries pile up, the media and the public begin to believe that the object is an extraterrestrial technology. Though the Betz family initially dismisses this possibility, the inconclusive results of the military tests lead them to seek assistance from several private research institutions. The first person enlisted for the investigation is Dr. Carl Winston, the founder of Omega-1 Laboratories. After working on the sphere for 6 hours, Dr. Winston discovers that in addition to the military's findings, the sphere also emits radio frequency waves. However, like the military, Dr. Winston cannot explain the sphere's unique ability to possess 4 variable magnetic poles that seemingly defy the laws of physics. The second expert to investigate the sphere is Dr. James Harder, a professor of engineering and a private consultant. Through his tests, Dr. Harder discovers that the inner material of the sphere has a structure corresponding to an atomic number of 140. The atomic number indicates the number of protons in an element. In nature, the highest naturally occurring atomic number is 92, belonging to uranium. This value could be enriched to create a nuclear bomb or power a robust energy plant. However, the highest atomic number achieved by science is 118. The sphere's value of 140 points to only one conclusion. The sphere is neither a natural formation nor of this world. The final researcher is Dr. J. Allen Hynek. He was a renowned astronomer and professor of his time. Additionally, he served as a special consultant to the government on UFO matters and was involved in numerous government projects related to extraterrestrial life. Dr. Hynek confirms and documents the findings of all the other experts. However, as these investigations continue, unsettling events begin to trouble the Betz family. A group of men claiming to be independent researchers visit the family's home and offer them $750,000 for the sphere, equivalent to about $4 million in today's money. Unsettled by the men's demeanor, the family neither shows them the sphere nor accepts their money. This angers the group, leading to tense moments. Following the family's complaint, a police investigation reveals that the men's identities are fake and that they aren't even American. It's likely suspected that these were Soviet agents aiming to acquire the object. The Betz family gradually begins to realize that the situation is turning dangerous. In the 1970s, National Enquirer magazine launches a campaign offering a substantial cash prize to anyone who could prove the existence of life on other planets. Their annual UFO conventions, which gained considerable fame, were attended by prominent and influential individuals. The Betz family decides to send their sons, Terry and Gray, to one of these conventions. In the family's view, a gathering that brings together so many experts could provide a great opportunity to unravel the mysteries of the sphere. All of the sphere's extraordinary properties and behaviors are closely examined by the experts and professors attending the convention. No one can provide a logical explanation. Some experts suggest drilling a hole into the sphere, but Dr. James Harder warns that performing an uncontrolled drilling operation on an object with such a high atomic number could destabilize its structure, potentially leading to a radioactive accident. In the midst of these heated discussions, Terry receives an urgent phone call. The caller, claiming to be from the hospital, informs him that his mother has been in a serious accident and is in critical condition. Shocked by the news, Terry entrusts the sphere to the professors and rushes to the hospital. However, upon arriving, there's no trace of his mother. When he reaches his family, it becomes clear that the phone call was a hoax. Terry immediately returns to the convention site, but it's too late. The damage is done. A group of men had stolen the sphere. After a lengthy argument with Enquirer officials, Terry learns that the men who took the sphere had brought it to an address in New Orleans. When Terry arrives at the location, he realizes it's a heavily guarded naval base. The authorities inform Terry that the sphere is being tested, but that he's forbidden from entering, forcing him to wait. After several days of legal disputes, the Navy states they've discovered nothing new and returns the sphere to Terry Betz. Word of the incident spreads, bringing the press to the military base to capture the events. The journalists ask Terry to make the sphere move for them. Since it's something everyone already knows about, Terry agrees, taking the sphere out of his bag and placing it on the ground. But nothing happens. No rolling, no vibration, no ringing. The sphere just sits there, completely still. Terry puts the sphere back in his bag and returns home. But the family begins to grow suspicious. They subject the sphere to another X-ray scan. The magnetic poles in the three smaller spheres inside are no longer present. Dr. James Harder, a family friend, claims that Dr. Hynek, who works for the government, created a replica of the sphere and that this duplicate was given to the family at the military facility. Everything seems to confirm this theory. However, between the overwhelming media attention, threats from foreign agents, and the pressure they put on the government regarding the stolen original sphere, the situation escalates. After Terry is beaten by government agents, the Betz family reaches their breaking point and can no longer endure it. They sell their home and land, moving to another state to live a quiet life away from prying eyes. They never again give an interview to a newspaper, write an article, or speak about the matter. The question that intrigues the entire world to this day remains forever unanswered. What was the Betz sphere really? More importantly, where did it come from? These questions remain unknown to this day.